You were never afraid of saying no. You were afraid of what would happen after you said it. This audiobook is not about becoming rude, cold, or selfish. It is about ending the habit of abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. Guilt is not a moral signal. It is a conditioning response. And once you understand that, your no becomes calm, grounded, and unshakable. This is where self-respect begins. Chapter 1. Stop explaining yourself. Over-explaining is not kindness. It is hesitation disguised as politeness. Listen closely. Every time you explain your no, you weaken it. Every extra sentence turns your boundary into a debate. Every justification invites someone else to decide whether your reason is good enough. That is the key. You were never meant to defend your limits. Limits are not arguments. They are decisions. Most people do not over-explain because they like talking. They over-explain because they want approval. They want reassurance. They want the other person to say, "That's okay, you're still good, but here is the truth." You do not need their permission. When you explain yourself, you shift the power away from you. You send a quiet message that says, "If you disagree, I might reconsider," and some people hear that message clearly. They lean in, they push back, they negotiate. Explanations invite negotiation. Clarity ends it. A clean no is calm, a long no is nervous. Think about the last time you said yes when you meant no. You probably said something like, "I would love to help, but I'm really busy, and I've been overwhelmed lately, and I already have so much on my plate." That was not a boundary. That was a plea. You were hoping they would rescue you from your own decision. You were hoping they would say, "Oh, no worries, I understand." And if they didn't, you stayed stuck. You have a choice. You can keep explaining, or you can start deciding. A strong no sounds simple. It sounds boring. It sounds final. "No, I'm not available. No, that doesn't work for me. No, I won't be doing that." No story. No apology. No emotional cushioning. No is a complete sentence. Say it again. No is a complete sentence. Your nervous system may panic when you shorten your response. That does not mean you are wrong. It means you are unlearning a pattern. Many people were trained early to justify their existence, to prove they were reasonable, to prove they were kind, to prove they were not selfish. So when you stop explaining, guilt shows up. Fear shows up. Old voices show up. That is normal. But here is what matters. Discomfort is not danger. You are allowed to choose yourself without providing a presentation. You are allowed to protect your time without a tragic backstory. You are allowed to say no even if the other person does not like it. You do not need their permission. Short answers feel rude only to people who benefit from your confusion. Healthy people do not require explanations to respect a boundary. Unhealthy people demand them. Pay attention to who pushes when you get clear. That reaction is information. That is the key. When you over-explain, you blur your authority. When you are clear, you become predictable. And predictable boundaries are respected. Chapter 2. Guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. Guilt is one of the most misunderstood emotions you experience. Most people treat guilt like a warning signal, like a moral alarm, like evidence that they crossed a line. But here is the truth. Feeling guilty does not mean you did something wrong. It often means you did something new. That is the key. Guilt shows up when you break an old pattern. When you stop over-explaining, when you stop rescuing others from discomfort, when you stop saying yes out of fear. Your nervous system does not like sudden change. It prefers familiarity, even when that familiarity costs you peace. So when you choose yourself, your body reacts. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts race. Your mind starts searching for reasons why you should undo what you just did. That sensation is guilt, not because you are bad, but because you are no longer obeying an outdated rule. You have a choice. You can interpret guilt as a command, or you can see it for what it really is. A feeling passing through. Guilt is a feeling, not a command. Say it again. Guilt is a feeling, not a command. Many people confuse guilt with empathy. They think feeling guilty makes them kind. They think releasing guilt makes them selfish. That belief keeps them trapped. Empathy does not require self-betrayal. Compassion does not require self-abandonment. You can understand someone's disappointment without fixing it. You can care without complying. You can be kind without collapsing. That is emotional maturity. Emotional maturity means you allow feelings to exist without obeying them, especially uncomfortable ones. Discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is growth. Say that again. Discomfort is not danger. If guilt truly meant wrongdoing, it would show up only when you hurt others. But that is not how it works. Guilt shows up when you rest instead of overwork, when you say no instead of yes, when you stop being available on demand, when you disappoint someone who expected access. That should tell you something. Your guilt is often tied to who benefited from your lack of boundaries. That is the key. Notice this pattern. The people who react the strongest to your boundaries are often the same people who benefited from you having none. Your guilt rises because your role is changing, and roles feel safe, even when they are harmful. You were trained to be agreeable, to be helpful, to be low maintenance, to be easy. So when you stop playing that role, guilt appears like a reflex. Do not panic. Do not negotiate with it. Do not rush to undo your decision. Pause. Breathe. Let the guilt move through without acting on it. You have a choice. Every time guilt appears, you can ask one powerful question. Did I do something wrong, or did I just do something different? Most of the time, the answer will surprise you. Guilt loses its power when you stop treating it like authority. It only controls you when you believe it must be obeyed. Guilt is a feeling, not a command. The urge to fix, explain, or backtrack is just your nervous system seeking familiarity, not truth. Truth feels calm, even when emotions are loud. And here is something important to understand. Guilt fades faster when you do not feed it. When you rush to soothe others, guilt strengthens. When you hold your boundary, guilt weakens. Every time. Because your system learns a new lesson. You can survive this. Nothing bad happened. You are still safe. That is how rewiring happens. You do not eliminate guilt by arguing with it. You eliminate guilt by proving through action that you do not need it to make good decisions. That is the work. Let guilt sit in the back seat. Do not hand it the steering wheel. You can say, I feel guilty, and I'm still saying no. You can say, this is uncomfortable, and I'm staying grounded. You can say, I choose self-trust over emotional reflex. Say it again. Guilt is a feeling, not a command. As you practice this, guilt will show up less intensely, not because you became careless, but because you became clear. Clarity quiets inner chaos. And here is the takeaway you need to carry forward. When guilt stops controlling you, something else becomes visible, other people's reactions. In the next chapter, we will address the next trap, the belief that you are responsible for how others feel. Because once guilt loosens its grip, you must learn this truth. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. That is where real freedom begins. Chapter 3. Stop managing other people's emotions. One of the deepest habits you must break is this one: managing other people's emotions. You learned it early. Read the room. Keep the peace. Make sure no one is upset. And somewhere along the way, that turned into this belief. If someone feels bad, it must be your fault. If someone is disappointed, you must fix it. That belief is false. You are not responsible for how others react. That is the truth. Most people are not exhausted because they do too much. They are exhausted because they manage emotions that are not theirs. They anticipate disappointment. They soften messages. They compromise before anyone even asks. And slowly, they disappear. You have a choice. You can keep absorbing emotions that do not belong to you, or you can let adults feel what they feel. Disappointment is not harm. Say it again. Disappointment is not harm. Someone feeling uncomfortable does not mean you injured them. Someone being upset does not mean you crossed a moral line. Someone reacting emotionally does not mean you must respond emotionally. That is the key. Emotions are information, not instructions. When you say no, disappointment may appear. That is normal. That is human. But disappointment is part of life, not something to rescue people from. When you rush in to soothe, explain, or over-accommodate, you send a message. You cannot handle your feelings without me. That message does not build closeness. It builds dependence, and dependence turns into resentment. Rescuing emotions creates resentment. On both sides. You resent them for needing so much. They resent you for eventually pulling away. All because you never allowed them to feel what they needed to feel. Letting others feel their feelings builds respect. Respect grows when boundaries are clear and consistent, not when you bend yourself into emotional shapes. You are allowed to say no and remain calm. You are allowed to hold your ground while someone reacts. You are allowed to stay silent while someone processes. Their feelings are theirs to process. Say it again. Their feelings are theirs to process. This does not mean you become cold. It means you become grounded. You can acknowledge without absorbing. You can listen without fixing. You can be present without surrendering. I understand you're disappointed. Pause. End. No fixing. No backtracking. No self-betrayal. That pause is powerful. Most people rush to fill silence because they think silence means something is wrong. Often, silence is where regulation happens. Let people sit with their reactions. Let them regulate themselves. That is emotional maturity. Your job is not to prevent emotional weather. Your job is to stay steady inside it. You have a choice. Every time someone reacts, ask yourself this: is this my emotion to carry? Most of the time, the answer is no. You did not create their expectations. You did not promise access. You did not cause their reaction. You simply chose yourself. That is allowed. When you stop managing emotions, something shifts. Your body relaxes. Your voice steadies. Your boundaries strengthen. People learn how to treat you based on what you tolerate, not what you explain. That is the key. If someone repeatedly reacts strongly to your boundaries, pay attention, not to change yourself, but to gather information. Do they respect limits? Do they regulate themselves? Or do they rely on guilt to get compliance? That information matters. You are not here to parent adults. You are not here to be an emotional buffer. You are not here to sacrifice your peace to prove you care. Care does not require collapse. Say it again. Their feelings are theirs to process. When you let go of emotional management, you free up energy. Energy that belongs to you. Energy you have been leaking for years. And with that energy comes clarity. In the next chapter, you will learn when to say no. Not after you are exhausted. Not after resentment builds. But early. Once. Clearly. Because delayed no's create emotional debt. And emotional debt always comes due. Chapter 4. Say no early. Say no once. Most conflict is not caused by saying no. It is caused by waiting too long to say it. That is the truth. Delayed no's create emotional debt. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you borrow against your future. You borrow energy. You borrow time. You borrow peace. And eventually the bill arrives. You feel it as irritation, as exhaustion, as quiet resentment that leaks into your tone. That is the key. People often believe they are being kind by saying yes, by giving it a little more time, by hoping the situation will resolve itself. It does not. Soft yeses lead to hard resentment. A soft yes sounds polite, but it feels heavy. And the longer it sits, the heavier it becomes. You start counting. How many times you showed up, how often you adjusted, how much you gave. That resentment is not random. It is the cost of delayed honesty. You have a choice. You can disappoint someone early, or you can disappoint them later with frustration attached. Early honesty prevents long-term conflict. When you say no early, you stop the story before it grows. You do not allow expectations to form. You do not allow patterns to harden. A clear no at the beginning is easier than an emotional explosion later. Say it again. Clear is kind. Clear is calm. Most people delay no's because they fear reactions. They fear being seen as difficult. They fear being misunderstood. But confusion creates more damage than clarity ever will. When you hesitate, people fill in the blanks. They assume availability. They assume agreement. They assume access. Then when you finally speak up, it feels sudden to them, even though it has been building inside you for weeks. That is not kindness. That is avoidance. One firm boundary beats repeated excuses. Excuses keep the door open. Boundaries close it gently. I can't right now invites follow-up. I'm not doing that ends the conversation. You do not need to wait until you are exhausted to be valid. You do not need a breakdown to justify a boundary. You do not need proof of burnout to choose yourself. You have a choice. Say no the first time your body tightens. Say no the first time you feel pressure. Say no the first time you hesitate. That hesitation is information. Your body often knows before your mind catches up. Clear is kind. Clear is calm. Notice how much energy you waste rehearsing delayed no's, running conversations in your head, planning explanations, preparing defenses. All of that disappears when you decide early. Decision simplifies everything. A firm no delivered early allows everyone to adjust. It gives clarity. It gives direction. It may disappoint. That is okay. Disappointment is temporary. Resentment lingers. When you say no once, clearly, you teach people how to approach you. When you say maybe, you train them to push. That is the key. Patterns form quickly. What you tolerate becomes expectation. If you keep offering partial yeses, people will keep asking for more. Not because they are bad, but because the boundary was never solid. One firm boundary beats repeated excuses. Say it again. Clear is kind. Clear is calm. There is a quiet confidence in early no's. No drama, no build-up, no emotional debt, just alignment. And here is something important. When you say no early, you protect the relationship. Because resentment is what destroys connection. A clean no preserves respect. A delayed no damages trust. You do not need to be harsh. You need to be honest. As you practice this, you may notice fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of being misunderstood. Let it pass. Early clarity is an act of self-respect. And self-respect teaches others how to treat you. That is the takeaway. When you stop delaying no's, something else becomes visible. Who respects your boundaries, and who resists them? In the next chapter, we will talk about that directly. Because boundaries do not destroy relationships, they reveal them. Chapter 5. Boundaries reveal, they don't destroy. Many people are afraid of boundaries for one reason. They believe boundaries destroy relationships. That belief keeps them silent, overextended, disconnected from themselves. But here is the truth. Boundaries do not destroy healthy relationships. They expose unhealthy ones. That is the key. Healthy people respect limits. Unhealthy ones resist them. When you set a boundary, you are not creating conflict. You are revealing reality. Pay attention to what happens when you say no, not to judge, to learn. Pushback is information, not a threat. Say it again. Pushback is information, not a threat. When someone reacts strongly to a reasonable boundary, that reaction tells you something important. It tells you how they view access to you. It tells you whether they see you as a person or a resource. Boundaries act like filters. They do the sorting for you. Boundaries filter relationships naturally. You do not have to confront everyone. You do not have to explain yourself endlessly. You do not have to cut people off dramatically. You simply hold your line and observe. I don't fear reactions, I observe them. That is the posture. People who value you will adjust. They may be disappointed, but they will respect the limit. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will push. They will question. They will guilt. They will pressure. Who resents your no benefits from your yes? That sentence changes everything. Read it again in your mind. Who resents your no benefits from your yes? Resentment reveals dependency, not love. You are not responsible for preserving comfort at the cost of your well-being. You are responsible for being honest with yourself. You have a choice. You can keep shrinking to maintain access, or you can stand steady and let relationships recalibrate. Boundaries do not end connection. They redefine it. Some connections will grow stronger because clarity creates trust. Others will fade. Not because you did something wrong, but because they were built on compliance. That is not loss. That is alignment. When you stop chasing approval, you start seeing clearly. You notice who listens, who adjusts, who respects your time. And you also notice who disappears when you stop overgiving. That information is valuable. Pushback is information, not a threat. Most people panic at resistance. They interpret it as danger, as proof they should backtrack. But resistance is just a signal. It tells you where the boundary actually is. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay observant. I don't fear reactions, I observe them. You're not here to convince anyone, you're here to live in alignment. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors with clear rules. Those who respect the rules stay, those who do not, leave, and that is okay. You do not need to explain why you need limits. You do not need to defend your needs. You do not need to soften reality. Clarity is enough. As you practice this, something will shift internally. You will feel steadier, less reactive, more self-trusting, because you are no longer guessing who belongs in your inner circle. You are watching how people respond to self-respect. That is the takeaway. Boundaries are truth-tellers. They reveal who can meet you with maturity. In the next chapter, we will address a common misunderstanding, the belief that confidence must come before boundaries. The truth is the opposite. Confidence is built after you hold the line. Chapter 6. Confidence comes after the boundary. Many people are waiting for confidence to arrive before they act. They say things like, "Once I feel stronger, I'll speak up. Once I'm more confident, I'll set boundaries. Once I stop feeling afraid, I'll say no." That moment rarely comes, because confidence is not the starting point. It is the result. That is the truth. You do not wait to feel strong before saying no. You become strong because you say no. Strength is built through action, not thought, not preparation, not rehearsing. Action. Every boundary you hold is a signal to your nervous system. I can handle this. I can survive this. I can trust myself. That is the key. Confidence is not loud. It is steady. And steadiness comes from repetition. Repetition rewires identity. Each time you choose yourself, your identity shifts slightly. From someone who avoids conflict, to someone who honors truth. From someone who collapses under pressure, to someone who stands calmly. You have a choice. You can keep waiting to feel ready, or you can act while fear is present. Fear does not disappear first. It quiets after. I choose self-trust over fear. Say it again. I choose self-trust over fear. The first boundary often feels the hardest. Your heart races. Your voice shakes. Your mind questions everything. That does not mean you failed. It means you are learning. The second boundary feels slightly easier. The third, steadier. The fourth, almost natural. Each boundary strengthens the next one. That is how confidence is built. Layer by layer. Decision by decision. Most people think confident people do not feel fear. They are wrong. Confident people feel fear and act anyway. They trust their values more than their discomfort. That is the difference. You do not need to eliminate fear. You need to stop letting it decide. Fear is a sensation, not an authority. Self-trust is built when you prove to yourself that you will not abandon yourself under pressure. That proof comes from behavior. Small moments count. Saying no to something minor. Holding a boundary in a low-stakes situation. Not over-explaining when you feel the urge. These moments matter. They teach your system a new pattern. Repetition rewires identity. If you repeat self-abandonment, you reinforce fear. If you repeat self-trust, you build strength. You have a choice. Notice how different your body feels after you hold a boundary. There may be discomfort at first, then relief, then calm. That calm is confidence forming, not excitement, not bravado. Calm. Calm is the body learning safety. I choose self-trust over fear. When you hesitate, return to that phrase. When your voice shakes, return to that phrase. When guilt rises, return to that phrase. It is a decision, not a feeling. Over time, something shifts. You stop asking for permission. You stop scanning for approval. You start moving with clarity. Confidence grows quietly, and here is something important. You do not need to be perfect. You will stumble. You will over-explain sometimes. You will backtrack occasionally. That does not erase progress. What matters is direction. Are you choosing self-trust more often than fear? Each boundary strengthens the next one. Say it again. Each boundary strengthens the next one. This is not about becoming rigid. It is about becoming rooted. Rooted people do not need to perform confidence. They live it, and that leads to the next truth. Once confidence begins to form, you will see what your no is really protecting. In the next chapter, we will talk about this. How every no protects a deeper yes, and why honoring that yes changes everything. Chapter 7. Your no protects your yes. Most people think saying no is about loss of opportunity, loss of connection, loss of approval. That belief keeps them overcommitted and undernourished. But here is the truth. Every no creates space for what matters. That is the key. Your no is not rejection. It is protection. When you say no, you are not closing doors randomly. You are choosing where your energy goes, and energy is finite. Say it clearly. Energy is finite. You do not have unlimited time. You do not have unlimited focus. You do not have unlimited emotional capacity. Every yes costs something. The question is whether the cost is aligned with your values. You have a choice. You can spend your energy reacting, or you can invest it deliberately. A grounded no strengthens meaningful commitments. When you say yes to everything, nothing receives your full presence. You become scattered, distracted, pulled in too many directions. When you say no with intention, your yes becomes powerful, focused, clean. That is self-respect in action. Self-respect multiplies focus and peace. People often chase peace by doing less. But peace does not come from reduction alone. It comes from alignment. Saying no is how alignment is created. You protect your mornings, your evenings, your creative time, your rest, not because you are selfish, but because those things fuel the parts of you that matter. I honor my yes by respecting my no. Say it again. I honor my yes by respecting my no. Think about what you say yes to without thinking. Extra obligations, last-minute favors, emotional labor that drains you. Each one quietly steals from something else, your health, your focus, your joy. When you say no to what drains you, you are saying yes to what sustains you. That is the trade, and it is a powerful one. You do not need to justify protecting your energy. You do not need to explain why something matters to you. You do not need to defend your priorities. Your life does not need consensus. A grounded no is calm because it is rooted in values, not mood, not fear, not guilt. When your no is grounded, your yes becomes trustworthy. People know when you say yes. You mean it. They feel your presence. They feel your integrity. That builds respect. I honor my yes by respecting my no. Notice how your body feels when you say yes out of alignment. Heavy, tight, resentful. Now notice how it feels when you say yes after protecting your energy. Clear, engaged, alive. That contrast matters. Your body is a compass. Listen to it. You have a choice. Every decision is a vote for the life you are building. Every no is a boundary around what you value. Every yes is a commitment to show up fully. This is not about doing less. It is about doing what matters. When you stop leaking energy, focus returns. When focus returns, peace follows. Self-respect multiplies focus and peace. Say it again. Self-respect multiplies focus and peace. As you practice this, you will notice something else. Calm begins to replace effort. You stop forcing clarity. You stop overthinking decisions your body knows, and that calm becomes your authority. In the next and final chapter, we will bring everything together. because calm is the final authority. And when you move from calm, your no needs no defense at all. You are not difficult. You are becoming honest. Every no you say without guilt teaches your nervous system a new truth. You can be safe and still choose yourself. Carry one sentence with you today. I do not abandon myself. Return to this audiobook whenever doubt appears. Each listen strengthens the boundary. Each boundary strengthens the self. Your peace is not selfish. It is earned.